My name is Channing Moreland. In this brief reflection, I will share how my liberation work philosophy of education deeply aligns with Alliant's guiding principles and impact values and grounds my work as a transformative wellness education practitioner. My personal philosophy of education is grounded in liberation work. I believe education should be a sacred and transformative experience that restores our relationship to self, to each other, and to our community. Liberation work is rooted in cultural humility, ancestral wisdom, and practices like the Nguzo Saba and the 42 Laws of Ma'at from ancient Kemet. It decolonizes traditional Western approaches and makes space for healing, voice, and self-determination. In a liberation work framework, teachers are not just instructors. We are servant leaders, liberation workers committed to decolonizing education. We disrupt oppressive norms and create space for healing, truth-telling, and justice. Students are not passive recipients of knowledge. They are co-creators of their own emancipation, intrinsically motivated to lead change within themselves and in the world. The classroom becomes a sanctuary, a space for critical care and love, where students are seen, heard, and affirmed. The liberation worker teacher decolonizes education practices and centers freedom by modeling equity and justice and through critical care and love, because students don't care what you know until they know that you care. This is the heart of my practice: relationships rooted in care, rigor grounded in love, and teaching that liberates. As a liberation work educator, each of Alliant's impact values show up intentionally in my practice. Inclusion means honoring each student's lived experience, language, and cultural identity in every lesson. Mentorship shows up through intergenerational guidance and relationship building centered in care, community, and co-learning. Passion is evident in the way I teach joyfully, truthfully, and with reverence for our collective growth. Accountability means practicing self-reflection, being honest about where I need to grow, and showing up in integrity with my values. Communication is how I co-create safety and connection with students and colleagues, listening deeply, affirming, and empowering. Teamwork looks like shared leadership and restorative collaboration within learning communities where everyone belongs. When we reimagine education through a liberation-centered lens, these core pillars guide our practice. Professionalism and ethical practice are redefined through decolonization and restorative care. We model accountability not through control, but through community, compassion, and healing. Diversity and equity are not just checkboxes. They are rooted in the principles of Nguzo Saba and Ma'at, grounding our work in African-centered values of unity, truth, reciprocity, and purpose. Cultural responsiveness means that the classroom norms reflect students' lived experiences, not in theory, but in real time, with curriculum, language, and practices that affirm who they are. Lifelong learning reminds us that we are always evolving. Teachers and students grow together as co-learners and co-healers. And finally, service and leadership. As liberation workers, we serve and lead with a commitment to social justice. Leadership is not about hierarchy. It's about being in right relationship with our students, our communities, and our collective liberation. Through this program, I've evolved from an innate freedom work educator to a liberation-centered practitioner. Alliance principles didn't just support this shift, they challenged and expanded it. Whether through coursework, mentorship, or real-world application, I've been pushed to deepen my cultural responsiveness, to design more emotionally intelligent curriculum, and to lead with justice at the center. I've witnessed the power of what happens when students feel safe, seen, and supported to lead their own learning journeys. This is what liberation in education looks like. These students, these brilliant, resilient souls, are not just graduates. They are liberation worker students, intrinsically motivated, deeply committed to change, and walking in their power. But that flame doesn't just appear on its own. It's sparked, ignited by the daily intentional practice of critical care and love. Every conversation, every lesson, every moment of patience and presence, it all matters. Because when students know you care, they begin to believe in their own brilliance. This work is not easy, but it is sacred. And this is the reward. Liberation is not a theory, it's a relationship. It is a legacy.